Today I'm representing the Australian Sports Foundation. I'm based here in Melbourne. I'm a sports fundraising manager working predominantly with the professional clubs here. AFL do it best by a mile, and the learnings we can take from the professional space actually translates really well and is scalable for clubs like yourselves. Today's really simple. I'm going to be going over just a brief overview of the Sports Foundation if you don't know who we are. I'll be going through some statistics from last year to show you sort of the impact and opportunity we have, and then we'll go through some examples, some really tangible takeaways that you can implement at your clubs this season. And really the time is now. So the call to action from today is, in February and March, my book is open. Lock me in for a call, a meeting, a Teams meeting, whatever it is, but let's get it done now because we know that in season, we're just in delivery mode, and we can help you bring in some more funds in a tax deductible way to help both supporters of your club and yourselves make things a little bit easier. But brief history of the Sports Foundation. We've been around for 38 years in this space, really sort of have come into the digital age in 2014. In those 38 years though, we've raised close to $700 million for all levels of sport. So professional, national sporting organisations, individuals and grassroots sporting organisations and clubs like yourselves. That's impacted 10,000 plus people, individuals and community clubs, which is amazing. A bit more specifically, we're Australia's only online, fully tax deductible donation platform specifically for sports. So a supporter of your club can make a donation to all the amazing things that you do in your club, get a massive benefit, but also benefit yourselves along the way. And we're the only platform that can facilitate that. We're fully online and it's incredibly, well, it's just had a facelift if you are already on, so it's a little bit easier, which is great. I will stipulate, we run on a retention basis. We are free to sign up and get set up. For us to keep our lights on at the ASF, we hold 5% of the donations, 95% going straight back to you as a club. With that, we're holding all the infrastructure upkeep of our website, really importantly, our finance staff who look after all the tax compliance. So your club is not imposed any reporting regulations that the ATO or the Australian Charities Not-for-Profit Commission require us to do. We hold that all for you. And as a result, your projects in clubland you can promote as tax deductible, which is a really significant benefit. This is an incredibly poor, stretched screenshot of my local footy club, which I'll fix next time I do this, but I'll give you an illustration as to what the page actually is, right? So you've got your own web page as a footy club, and you've got your project description, you've got the donation transaction facilities there. The tax receipting happens simultaneously with the donation. You can track all of that. You can share on your social media, which would be great when you can purchase your in-play templates, which will be great. And you can put it on your website, on your newsletters, all the interfaces there to use. It's a bit of a one-stop shop for you, incredibly simple to use, track and collect the funds. I want to backtrack a bit next and go through what the financial year looked like last year for the ASF more broadly, and we'll funnel down into how that looks for the VAFA and sort of highlight the opportunity you've got in the room today. So last year, it's close to 80 million came through the platform at all levels. That was steady from FY22, but has seen a massive increase over the last few years. So the concept of giving towards sport as a charitable cause is becoming really, really significant for donors. We're on the runway to 2032. We're estimating $300 million in donations by that stage. So it's the time now to get on board, promote this as a really worthwhile cause, because you as footy clubs do amazing things in your communities, and that is worthwhile of people giving. So don't think it's not. We had 49% increase in successful fundraisers on the platform, whether that was a target of $1,000, $10,000 or $100,000, more projects were hitting their targets. And really important for community space, there was 24 million came through, specifically for community clubs like yourselves, which is up 35%. So local community members becoming aware that their local club and the good things that they do, the social impact they have, is a really important, and we're seeing a more significant contribution towards year on year. Now the next two slides are going to pump up AFL and specifically the VAFA's tyres a little bit, but let's indulge ourselves. In the community space last year, Aussie Rules, 2.8 million through. It's awesome, well done everyone. Soccer closely behind, and rugby, sort of not leaving much to the imagination there, but that's okay. More specifically, in the VAFA last year, on average, the average amount raised per VAFA club last season, or last financial year, was $30,000. So we had approximately 30 VAFA clubs actively fundraising with us. So if you're above that amount, that's amazing. Let's book in a time, let's consolidate. Let's work out how we can potentially expand. If you're just shy of that, let's book in. Let's work out how we can get to that target and elevate your fundraising with us. Or if you haven't even started fundraising with us, hopefully that showcases that there's a real opportunity there for you in this space to easily fundraise for your footy club and get some more funds in. We're here to really just help you fundraise smarter, not harder. We don't want to impose more time pressure on the small committees you've got and the less time you've got to do things. We understand that. I understand that. I'm on a committee myself and it's incredibly tough. So I can resonate, and we don't want to make you do more, basically. But what we're going to do is try and shift the dial a little bit and think, well, we've done the Bunnings barbecues, we've done the raffles, and that takes a lot of time, volunteer time and effort. But can we actually shift the dial a little bit and make that just a little bit more easy, a little bit more time effective for us as a small committee? Can we add on to things that we're already doing? Do we have a membership that we can elevate through a tax deductible donation? Do we have events that we can add on to? Do we have QR codes that we can put around the clubhouse that our future funds you can have people donating to 24/7? So it's just about shifting the dial a little bit, making things a little bit easier for the smaller committees out there and making fundraising really just a part of your club in bringing it into the digital age. So what can you fundraise for? Our charter at the Sports Foundation is really broad. It's the development of sport in Australia. So any project that falls under that your club wants to fundraise for, you can fundraise for, and it can be fully tax deductible through us. Some examples of that: facilities. It's a really popular one. It's bricks and mortar. It's so tangible for people to donate towards, and it's one that everyone has at some stage in their football club's history. If you've got something on the horizon, whether it's a year, 2 years, 3 years, let us know, because that's our bread and butter. We can help you out with that. Equipment, Sharon's, the cost is not coming down. You can fundraise for that. Coaching, travel, medical costs and player welfare programs, the DLR Footy Club Out of the Blue program and the gentleman that ran 50Ks for 50 days last year is just an incredible example of community fundraising for incredible programs that club is rolling out. And then a really popular one's just quite a broad future fund. I've got an example of that a little bit later, but that's just to keep the lights on at the club if things like COVID pop up again, or anything that's going to have this financial impact. People do give and donate to clubs just so that they have a pool of funds to sit on in case of events like that. So how do they go about it? Coterie groups, donor groups, friends of groups, passionate supporters that have the ability to, one, give back to the club and do so year on year. You can add on to things like memberships, events. We all do sportsmen's lunches, B&F nights, club balls, your donor recognition pieces, you buy bricks and buy seats. They're tried and tested, they've been around for years and they work for a reason. Very tangible benefits for those people willing to donate. Game day activation, social media appeals as well, all things we can roll through. But I'll actually just get into some specific examples now. A club very dear to my heart, the Forest Hill Footy Club. I've been in Melbourne 2 years, joined the Forest Hill Footy Club 2 years ago, joined the committee last year, and the committee was made up of 3 people. So we were up against it. The context around this is we had a $2,000 cash sponsor pull out last minute. Luckily, I kind of have a bit of an inkling of something that could fill the gap. So we launched a Future Fund last financial year campaign so that we can keep the lights on at the footy club. The target was really simple. The benefactors, the players, let's target them. Coaches, supporters, the very small list of sponsors that we did have, and our past players network, which was quite extensive and really good to lean on. Honestly, all we did for that was 2 emails, 4 social media posts, and printed off a heap of posters to put around the club rooms, of which we had 2 match days in that 5-week period. We fell short of hitting the $2,000 mark, but we got $1,500 towards the club, otherwise we wouldn't have had. And it came from 20 unique donors, which we uncovered a group of people now that we can steward and thank in a way that we didn't previously know. And I wanted to show this one, not because it's my footy club, but more so that if you aren't fundraising at all with us yet, this should be the bare minimum of what you should do. And I don't think any footy club here would say, in exchange for $1,500, if you do 2 emails, 4 social media posts and put some posters up, and I'll give you $1,500, I don't think anyone would sneeze at that to start the season. So if you're not doing anything, at least let's talk, let's get something like this up and running. Next example, Zilmere Footy Club up in Brisbane, they have got a change room renovation that they've just started. They're going the tried and tested buy a brick campaign. Get your name on a brick at the new change rooms for $500 that is fully tax deductible. They work for a reason because they're incredibly, you have a piece of what the club is going to be at, a place that you spend so much of your time on a Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday. As I said earlier, if you've got an infrastructure build coming up, by all means reach out, let us help you develop a plan around that and help you bridge the gap in funds that you may have. Now the last example, a little bit contentious. I'm going up to Sydney in Club Rugby Land. We're going to Warringah Rugby Club. Their Friends of Warringah program they run is a donor group. It is incredibly well set up. The context around this was the club's in Premier Rugby, right? They're a pretty self-sufficient club, but in the 2010s, they had 15 to 20 members that banded together because they were on their knees, both on and off the field. They pledged that year on year they would give, X amount of dollars to make sure that the club would sustain their future every year. That went to things like equipment, player support funds, if they needed any welfare help for their players or facilities upgrades. But it gave the committee there, they can budget that every year. They've got this really passionate, engaged group that came together and said, we'll give X amount of dollars for you year on year that will alleviate any stress that the club has. And I know there's some clubs in the room that may have supporters that are passionate and willing to do that. And again, all fully tax deductible, which in itself for the donor is a massive benefit, and they're supporting their local club. I've got a short video on these guys that's actually probably worthwhile playing.
So Friends of Warringah have been really supportive of the club over a number of years. They provide funding things for special projects such as, and it's not just for our club, it's for the junior clubs in our area as well. So they provide, a couple of years ago they provided a scrum machine for the juniors to help them with their rugby. And they also provide funds to support individual players within the club that might need some assistance.
We're not the best salesmen in the world, but I think what we do is we've built up goodwill. So we have people that we talk to that are part of the club and want to maybe ramp up from a normal membership to a Friends of Warringah membership and are willing to make the additional contribution. A lot of them hear about the good things the Friends of Warringah do, and that generates new members. The ASF have been terrific in a couple of ways. One is formalising the Friends of Warringah, giving us a bit more formality and governance. The second one is the tax deductibility to members when they make their contributions. And the third one is the support from people like Millie and Ryan, whereby they give us ideas on how to fundraise itself. Because we only know what we know, and they see lots of clubs doing lots of different things. So it's always good to pick their minds.
Well, quite frankly, the club would struggle to exist without the Friends of Warringah.
I'm most proud of the Friends of Warringah to see where the club is at the moment. The club has been successful on and off the field. We have a huge engagement with the local community. Our juniors are prospering, and in a small way the Friends of Warringah have contributed to that success.
Before I finish up, I can't not touch on the community clubs capitalising on end of financial year and what the results were last year for that. So we saw $20.6 million come through during tax time last year. If you think back, it was $24 million for the whole year last year for community clubs. So giving during tax time and accessing tax deductible donations towards community clubs is becoming incredibly more prevalent and more aware for donors. So I don't think that the things that you are doing as clubs, we don't actually have a proper cause. Well, actually just existing and promoting social cohesion, social impact that you do as footy clubs is incredibly powerful to your communities. That's about $13,000 per club was raised during that time, and that's up nearly 20% from the previous year. So if you're going to do absolutely anything with us as a committee this year, please reach out and let's get an end of financial year appeal going. You saw what it did for the Forest Hill Footy Club. It was $1,500 in our pocket for not much. So by all means, please reach out. We do webinars, we do a series around that leading up, but if you want to get the ball rolling on this now, we've got the time and the capacity to do so and work with you. QR code should go through to my digital business card if that works. But there's my details, and I'm really sincere in saying we've got the time now to help you out, to get you up and running, whether you are a seasoned fundraiser with us and just want a health check, whether you've dipped your toe in the water with the Sports Foundation and want some fresh ideas, or whether you're brand new and I just want to get set up, just reach out, book in some time with me or one of my colleagues. We'll sort something out and let's get the ball rolling, because the opportunity's there. People are willing to give to clubs like yourselves and the great things that you do. And I think don't let the opportunity slip. People want to help community clubs survive well into the future, and you can do that via a number of different mechanisms that you're already doing. And we can just help you add on different elements to that to potentially get a few more funds in and help out. So thanks, best of luck for the 2024 season. It's amazing you're all here in February. Wish the AFNL did this last year, would have been great.